Okay, we stopped there for a couple minutes at that stream, watered up, splashed a little bit across the stream, and now we are officially on the Black Forest Trail, back on some orange blazes. We were talking about it and checking maps while we stopped. It looks like we have about 28 miles to Slate Run, where our resupply boxes are, and hopefully some food and some beers at the hotel restaurant. Eva strongly votes for beers. So if we go about 14 or so more miles here on Black Forest, that should give us about 14 in tomorrow, which should put us there about mid-afternoon, which would be perfect time. So cross this next stream and we'll check in later. We're only about a mile into the Black Forest Trail, but I gotta say, after the overgrown nature of the link trail and the questionable blazing, this place is awesome. We've been following this stream. It's been super flat, which I know is not something that's going to stick around, but I'll take it just for now. And it's just got a very nice vibe to it. It's well blazed, trail's very clear. That stream is super soothing. A little bit more sunlight making it through the trees. Early on, high marks for the Black Forest Trail. We'll see if I'm still saying that when we get to the elevation. But for now, 2 thumbs up. It's just after 10:30, about 10:40, and I just crossed this stream for what I am assuming is the last time. There's a couple of great campsites there and there, but all the blazes go up there. So I think I'm about to hit the first climb on Black Forest. So I'll probably take a couple bites of a Cliff Bar, put the camera away, and put my head down, see what we can do. About 5 miles in for the day, about 47 in for the trip. And since it's about 10:40, we're doing pretty good. We want to do about 17 to 20 today. We should be on par for that. So check in later. Okay, it's 11 o'clock. I've been climbing for 20 minutes straight. It started to flatten out, and then I saw this, which is gonna be fun and exhausting. So hopefully we make it to the top here. All right, made it up that rock scramble without too much trouble. Just stowed my trekking poles and used my hands a little bit. There was some more rock patches after, and now it seems like it's flattened out at least a little bit, but we're still going up, so hopefully we'll find the top soon. I can take a break. We keep going though. Popped out onto this little sunny patch. Nice view. So once we left that overlook, it's been pretty flat. Really been able to sit back and cruise. And now it's gonna actually open up here a bit. We're gonna get some sun, which is a nice change. Okay, we are at this campsite here. Pretty nice little campsite, although there's not a ton of tent space. I guess we go up that way. But we're right on the water here, so Eva and I agreed to stop here and filter. So I'm here first, so I have the water filter, or I'm sorry, the bag. So I'm going to go ahead and do this while I wait for her. And it's about noon. We are at 7.25 miles for the day. So we've debated stopping here for lunch, but I think we're gonna press on to another mile or so where there is a view and have lunch there. I don't know, maybe we'll reconsider that because it's already noon and we only have 7 miles in for the day. And we want to go at least 17, I think, to keep us on track to get into Slate Run tomorrow afternoon. So that would be a pretty late hiking day, especially if we have more climbs coming that are going to eat up some time. So we'll talk about it when Eva gets here, but until then, I'm just gonna relax and filter out some water. 50 miles in for the trip, 8 and change for the day, and I think we found a spot for lunch because this is pretty amazing. So I'm gonna sit down and dig out my lunch and have some water. All right, Trail Food Trials, episode 2, part 3. Our Green Belly meal to go bar today is cranberry almond, 650 calories, same price as the rest, no water, no time, obviously 5 out of 5 difficulty ease rating. So yeah, let me get a couple bites in and then I'll let you know. All right, so about halfway through one of the bars. It's not my favorite. I would say the texture is on par with yesterday's, which I don't remember what that is, but I'll put it up. Flavor-wise, the cranberries are really good. The rest of it, man, I think this is probably a 1/4 point lower than yesterday's. So for me, that first one still in the lead. But we got at least one more to go, so we'll figure that out. It's just a little before 2 o'clock and we are here at Baldwin Branch. There's this pretty cool old stone structure here. I haven't done any investigating, so I'm not really sure what that's about. We're at about 10.5, 11 miles for the day and somewhere in the 50s for the trip, I think. And we probably have about, I don't know, 6 more to go today, something like that. So I'm just waiting for Eva, and then we will, I'm gonna steal a liter of water, and then we'll probably head on. So far, the Black Forest Trail has been really nice. Obviously, it's a little bit more rocky, and I would say maybe a little more challenging. But the scenery is nicer, and the trail is a little more maintained, even if it is a little bit more challenging terrain-wise. It's a lot rockier, which is what it is. But it's been good so far. So looking forward to seeing more of it. There's been a lot of really nice campsites, so hopefully those will continue, since there weren't really that many on the STS. We've seen a lot more per mile today, so that's great. So we'll get some water. I'm sure we got to climb back out of here and then over the ridge and maybe back down. I don't really remember. So we'll just keep going until we find camp. All right, we climbed up out from the creek there, and wasn't too bad, relatively short. And then now we're on this old logging road, and it's been pretty chill for a little bit. We're heading roughly east, south, and then a little bit east. Still got a handful of miles to go before the camp at trail mark 27. We're gonna reconvene there since they've got water in a camping site, and then we'll decide if we want to stay there tonight or if we want to just camel up and hike on a little bit more tonight, so we got a little bit shorter time into town tomorrow. Normally I wouldn't care. I mean, making miles is nice, obviously, but it's not the most important thing. The issue is that we want to eat at the hotel. The hotel has a bar and restaurant, and beers and burgers sound great, but their hours are kind of fluid right now because of COVID. And the last time I checked, they were only open like noon to 5. So we don't want to get in too late and miss it. So if we have signal tonight, maybe we'll try and call, or if I can message my wife and ask her to look it up, I might do that through the Garmin or my phone if I get signal. But other than that, we're just gonna keep trekking. It's coming up to this amazing view. Not sure where we are, but there's a sign here, I'll check. But look at that. Wow. I'm not sure what road this is, but might sit here and take a drink and rest for a bit while I look at that. So drop down from that view and then have been kind of zigzagging up and down this ridge. It's pretty cool, but it's a little steep and the pathway's a little narrow. But I think at the end of it, we'll drop down to some water and that campsite, and then we'll be able to game plan what we're gonna do next. I was able to text my better half at that overlook, and she got a hold of the hotel and restaurant, and they stopped taking food orders at 4, so we'll have to do some math once we get there and see if that changes our plan to stay there or push on. Sorry, lighting's terrible. So yeah, I guess I just better get there and get some water. All right, this downhill has been challenging on my knees, but it's like all these amazing water features. It's really wonderful, other than the mosquitoes and the grade. That said, I hope we're at the bottom. I almost prefer the uphills. I think I do prefer the uphills. Although, as tough as this one has been, I don't think I would have wanted to go the other direction, because that climb would have lasted a minute. Well, it looks like there's a cool campsite there. But I don't think that's the one we're targeting, so I'm gonna go on. So it turns out, as soon as I said that, we came across this hairpin here and across. So this is the campsite we were planning to meet up at, and teeny tiny frog friend. That's pretty cool. I think that's good luck. Also, this place looks pretty swank. Lots of good tent space over there. Rock chairs, fire pit. It's 5 o'clock, so we're gonna have to do some math. I think it might be wise to get another hour of hiking in if we want to make it to the restaurant tomorrow, which we do. So we'll have to see. See what time Eva gets here. She's probably not too long behind me, but I'm gonna see if I have the bag and filter some water. Well, that climb sucked, but we made it after an excruciatingly long time. Now we're up on top of this ridge. I think we've got about 2 miles of this, Eva said, and then a mile down to camp if we choose to go that far. So we're gonna keep walking while it's flat and go from there. GPS just pinged that we're at 60 miles for the trip. Probably in the neighborhood of 58 trail miles, but making good progress. And we're setting ourselves up to sleep in a little bit tomorrow and get some town food, both of which would be very, very welcome. So on we go. So it took 61 miles, but this campsite is amazing, and look at those views. Epic. All right, trail food trials, pad thai continues with Mountain House. So this one is 11 ounces of water, or 325 mils, 9-minute boil time with a stir halfway. No additional steps, so got to give it a 5 for that. It is 490 calories, so you got to knock it a little bit for that. Price per calorie I'll put up on screen because I don't remember what it cost. So I'm gonna let this water finish boiling and then we'll test it out. All right, our 9 minutes have elapsed. I have stirred. Here we go. I like the flavor. You can tell that there's like real good hearty chunks of vegetables in here. The noodles are into little tiny chunks, which is fine. But there's bell peppers and carrot strands in here, and they actually taste that way. It's nice. I will say, sorry, bug on the screen. I will say, I'm not sure it tastes a ton like pad thai, even though it's very good. It has some depth of flavor. Texture is pretty good. I would give it about probably a 3.75. I would give it higher, but with the noodles in chunks, it just doesn't have the pad thai texture, but the texture is not bad. It is missing some crunch from any peanut add-ins, although I think there might be some peanut chunks in there. They just got rehydrated. Flavor-wise, I'd say a 3.75, maybe a 4. It's good. It just tastes kind of like generic Asian cuisine versus actual pad thai. So not as good as Backpackers Pantry, still our leader in the clubhouse. On top of which it had more calories, which is nice because we put in 19.5 today and I could stand some extra calories. And I don't mind putting in the little bit of extra work on that Backpackers Pantry for the amount of flavor that it provides. So I think that's where we are. Flavor, texture, difficulty. Difficulty is clearly at 5, only 1 stir, easy. But if you don't need as big of a calorie load after a day of hiking, or if you wanted it maybe as a lunch, it could be a good option. So, all right, we'll pick this up tomorrow with Alpine Air. Good morning. It is Tuesday the 6th. It's about 7:25. We're a little bit late breaking camp this morning by about 20 minutes. But it is what it is. We got to sit around the fire ring there. We didn't have a fire, but there were some chairs and we had that amazing view of the morning fog in the valleys, and it was awesome. So now we got about 2 miles downhill to filter some water, and then we got about 12 additional miles of ups and downs to get into town to pick up our resupply boxes and hopefully get some cheeseburgers and some beers. So very much looking forward to that. This downhill's getting steep, so I'm gonna pay attention now. All right, so we made it down that incline, which it was treacherous at times, kind of rocky, not super steep, but a couple of spots were, and then like moderate plus rocks. And I think it was probably a good idea that we didn't decide to try and do that last night, because the sun would have been on the other side of the mountain and it would have been getting dark fast. So that was probably the right call. Plus it was hot last night, and I think being up on top of the mountain with the breeze was very, it was good. It kept us a little bit cooler and the breeze kept the bugs away. I think if we would have come down during the water, it would have just been humid and hot and a buggy mess. So that was a good call. Now we're on this nice stretch here, pretty flat, super flat actually. So we're gonna jam on and get down to filter some water. So it looks like we found the water source. Look at how freaking cool this is. Oh, a little rapid waterfall thing down there. Another one over here. This is so cool. Oh my God, what a dream. Amazing. Oh, this is gonna make filtering water so easy and pleasant. I am so excited. I just got done filtering some water, and somebody dropped their mat and I haven't seen anybody, so I haven't been able to return it. So I'm looking at it, and we are at, it looks like the bottom of Naval Run Trail, Naval Run Creek, where it intersects with the Black Forest Trail. So we're about trail mile 31 3/4, and Slate Run is at 0, which is really like 43. So we got about 11 and change into town. We should have plenty of time for that, but I think we got a real mother of a climb coming out of here. I think today is going to just be a lot of climbing, actually. That's going to be tough, but this is about as light as our packs are going to be until we get back to the car, so that's good. And then climbing out of Slate Run to camp is absolutely going to suck, because our packs will be completely loaded down with food and water, because the next water point is like 3 miles and there's no camping there. So we can hike 1 or 2 miles to campsites, probably the 2-miler because there's views. But other than that, there's no marked campsites until like 6.5. So that sort of limits our options, unless we just want to stealth camp. So probably depend on how fast we get to Slate Run, how much time we spend in town, and how much we want to hike this afternoon. It's supposed to be like 90 today, so I don't know if we're going to really want to push it with huge packs and full stomachs. But the flip side of that is it's supposed to rain Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so we might want to make hay while the sun shines. So we'll figure it out. I see Eva out there, so I'm going to get some water going for her, and then we will climb out. I'm not sure if you can see this, but there's a sign here that says Pine Creek Half Dome, the highest direct rise, creek to rim, something, Pine Creek Gorge, relief 1,306 to 2,060. And I believe they're referring to that, which may be where we camped last night. So it gives you kind of an idea of the elevation we're doing. I've been walking for a hot minute from water, and it's been a climb the whole time. Thankfully, it hasn't been super steep. There's been a fair amount of switchbacks. It's just continuous, but hopefully we're near the top, so we shall press on. Pine Creek Gorge, what a view. Cruising on this ridge walk here, but there's a Moss Hollow lookout and it doesn't look like it's very far, so let's go check it out. Yeah, I'd say that was worth the extra 50 feet, huh? So it's about 10:40 and made it down the descent to the water source, and I'm just waiting for Eva since I took off from the last water source first and she has the dirty water bag, so I can't filter yet. So I'm having a snack. About halfway to town. By the time Eva gets here, it'll probably be 11. We got about 6 or 7 more miles, so that should put us in between 2 and 3, which is pretty good. We gotta be in there by 4 when they stop taking food orders. Other than that, we got a lot of room to play with, because there's camp spots at like 1, 2, and 5 miles. So plenty of options to hike out. The downhills are a butt kicker. It's not just the steepness. Sometimes they're steep, sometimes they're not. But it's the duration of them and the fact that they're rocky the whole way down. So it's like a choose your own adventure rock staircase, and it's trying, and you got to go kind of slow. But we're getting it done. So I'm gonna have a little snack, and that means trail food trials, peanut butter challenge. Our next challenger is spiced chai almond cashew butter blend with organic masala spices. So it is 190 calories and $1.99. No water, no time. Let's see how it is. Texture-wise, it's very good. It's much smoother. I'd give it a 4.5 on texture. It's not my favorite flavor, but it's a really nice change from just like nut butter. So I would say it's probably a 3.75. But if you're really tired of peanuts and peanut butter, this is a good move. It's good. I would definitely keep one of these in my pack just to change it up. And obviously 5 out of 5 on ease. Tear the top, eat away. So I think I have another one of these for this afternoon. I don't know if I'll need it if we get town food, but I think we're also a full day ahead of the longest timeline because we have 9 days technically. We were hoping for 7 or 8, but it's going to depend on weather and how much time we spend in town and blah, blah, blah. So we have 9 days worth of food. So we're about to pick up 4 or 5 more, and I still have almost 2 full days in my pack. So I might start eating just to not have to carry it. But when Eva gets here, we'll filter some water and we'll push on. It's about 12:30 and I'm here at the intersection with Old Supply Trail, which means I've completed the first climb and descent, and now I have the last climb of about a mile, mile and a half maybe, and then I think 3 miles down to Slate Run and resupply and food. So we're in a little bit behind schedule, but not bad. It's not like we're in a huge rush, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this climb done, stop at the top, have a little bit of water, and then try and mosey on down into town. All right, just finished that last climb and had a little ridge walk, and now I think I'm heading down there. Should be about 2 or 3 miles of steady decline into town, and it is warm, I am sweaty, everything about me is wet, and I am very much looking forward to getting down there, getting some real food and a beer. I really want French fries and a cheeseburger, so let's get this done. So I got this beautiful view, but I was wrong. It is steep as hell coming down here, and it is slow. It is just like a pile of rocks and steep. My ankles and feet and quads are not gonna be happy with me when we get down to the bottom, so press on and get it done, I guess. Go find somewhere to lay down and put my feet up for a while. So we made it to Manor Hotel and Restaurant or in bar. It is 2:46, so we should be in time for food. Eva went inside to try and grab our resupply boxes, and just over here you can see the general store, so we may have to head over there for some band-aids for Eva's blisters. She's wearing her waterproof boots and they are not treating her feet very well, so we might stop there for supplies. And I would love a dirty water bag of my own if we can find one. If not, then the biggest water bottle I can find for dirty water. So hopefully we'll get our boxes here, we'll get those sorted out, and we'll get some food. It's about 4:20 or so, and we're getting ready to head out. It's Slate Run. We had amazing burgers. I got a double order of fries and a beer. Walked to the general store to pick up some Band-Aids, Motrin, and a 1 liter of Pepsi so I can have that as a dirty water bottle. So we got all of our resupply done. Our packs are incredibly heavy. We're carrying a ton of water. I think we have like 8.5 liters between us. Yep. And we're about to go 2 miles straight uphill. So this should be horrible. But once we get up on top of the ridge, it should be pretty easy for the next 4 or so miles. So there's campsites at 1 mile and 2 mile. So we're just gonna shoot for the 2 mile where the views are, and then we'll see how we feel. But right now I feel like taking a nap after that burger. So we're gonna get up and get moving before we fall asleep. Do not want to put this heavy ass pack on, but such is life. 2-ish miles up, straight up. Here's a pro tip. Don't eat a massive bacon cheeseburger with a side of fries and then in another entire to-go box of fries and a beer, and then pound a 1 liter Pepsi because you lost your dirty water bag and you need something to catch water in, and then climb 2 miles into the sky. It's not a good plan. But I did make it to the vista, and wow. Oh, you think that's it? No, we've got more over here. So I think, given the markings on the map, this is the 2 mile mark. Supposedly there's a camp. That looks like it might be a janky old fire ring. It's semi-flat, pretty exposed though. But wow. Better than to be at my desk, that's for sure. I'm gonna sit down and get some water until Eva gets here. Figure out what we're doing. More later. So we decided not to stay on that overlook because it was pretty exposed and pretty rocky. And it had started to sprinkle on us on the climb up, so if the storm rolled in, we kind of would have been screwed. So we went a little bit past it, and just past it, there was another small spot, but A, it just sort of geared up to push on, and B, we didn't think we could get both tents in there, and C, it was still kind of exposed and rocky. So we pushed on, that was at mile 2, pushed on to mile 3, hit a mountain spring. I drank a bunch of water, filled up my new dirty water bottle. There were a couple of spots there, but one of them wasn't very level, and the other one you literally would have rolled out of your tent and into the spring. And if it rained tonight, you woke up floating. So we decided to push on, hoping to find something at a link trail. Nothing there. Every clearing we've come to so far has just been rock and tiny trees. Nothing that would work for us. So we just stopped here for a minute for Eva to scout a potential site. It did not work out. It's just rocks. That's the biggest thing about them. Nothing to see here, just rocks. So we're gonna push on. We know there's a campsite at like 6 and change. We were just hoping not to have to go quite that far. It's probably 2 more from here. Maybe a little more. Yeah, we're not moving super fast.
Good thing we're working on burgers.
All right, so we're gonna keep going. Shortly after that last failed attempt to find a campsite, we took a corner and we did find one. It's not the best. It's a little bit lumpy. It's a little bit rocky, but we were able to get our tent set up. I have probably the worst pitch I've ever had, and it's so bad that my trekking pole popped through the top. So not ideal. Thankfully, I had some tenacious tape patches, so I put one over the top right away, which is also good because as soon as we got into our tents to start changing, it started to rain. So I will be eating in my tent and looking at all of my cold soak, no cook options so I don't have to rearrange too much stuff in my vestibule. Thankfully, I've got some mousse thing, chocolate mocha mousse dessert, and a cold soak triple peanut slaw from Food for the Soul that I've had forever and I've just never gotten around to using, so I'm excited to try that. Glad we cameled up when we had the chance. So there's definitely not water for probably another 2 miles, and we're just gonna take it easy and probably go to bed about as soon as we can, since we ended up doing just about 20 again today. The GPS says that we're over 80 for the trip, and this is the end of day 4, so we're staying pretty on target. I think when I plotted everything, it was 140 miles and change, and Slate Run was at mile 75, so just over halfway. And then we think we did about 5 miles after Slate Run, so that would put us right around 80, so that checks out. Hopefully this rain blows through during the night and we don't have to hike in it all day tomorrow, because that would suck. Although the terrain for the next, basically the stuff that we have left on the Black Forest is the easy stuff, which is really nice. I'm sure it won't be as easy as I'm making it sound right now, but the next like 4 miles are pretty chill. And then there's like a dip and a climb, but it's nothing compared to what we did today. And then it's down back to the Northlink Trail. So we'll start plotting that tomorrow though, because tonight we're just tired. So check in later. It's about 8:20. We have been back on the trail for a few minutes. Rained off and on most of the night last night. But we stayed dry. The Tenacious Tape patch on the tent held up. We were a little slow getting moving this morning, especially me. Had to do some serious foot treatment, handle some blisters, and I was a little stiff, so getting my boots and brace back on took a while. But we had some breakfast, broke down camp, and now we're moving again. Goal today is to make it back on the STS. We think we got about 9 miles on the Black Forest, and then the Northlink Trail is about 8. So that would put us at about 17 for the day, and there is a campsite right where the Northlink and the STS meet. So that's our target for today, and we'll see how we feel. We're hoping to get a view here in the next half mile or mile, and maybe some self-service to check the weather. But other than that, good morning. So we'll keep hiking. It's just before 9. We just passed a couple of the campsites we had seen on the map and hit this outlook. Beautiful way to start the morning. All right, I've been coming down this decline. It's been pretty steep and pretty rocky, but found this, which is going to be a great spot to filter water. So I'm going to take a little break, drink some water, fill up, because I think as soon as we get down to the bottom, we go back up. So, should be good. These downhills are kicking my butt, man. Can't get any momentum going. Just constantly, slowly picking your way through. I will be very happy to be off the Black Forest trails and back onto the STS, where it's a little bit more earthy and less rocky. But I think we got like 7 more miles to get there, so just gonna have to push on.
The terrain on the Black Forest Trail was definitely some of the most challenging I've ever hiked. The ups and downs are really rocky and rather strenuous, but the views on the trail are also amazing. There's incredible vistas at the top of each peak for the most part, and the wooded rivers and streams in the hollows are also wonderful. It's a really diverse trail that made for a great portion of this trip and really challenged me as a hiker.
followed that stream for a while, climbed up off the ridge or the hollow up onto this road. And some nice views. Can't beat that. On we go. Just after noon, and I just passed Highway 44, which means I should be in the home stretch here to the North Link Trail again. And I'm gonna sit down at that water crossing and have some lunch, wait for Eva. It's been a really chill day. Those two climbs, but they were nothing compared to yesterday. They were a little bit long at times, but nothing even compared to what we did out of town yesterday. Not in terms of length or altitude gain. So it's just been pretty chill other than that initial downhill. So that's been good. That said, not a lot of views, a handful, but not a lot. So just gonna put my head down and get to lunch. All right, it is just before 12:30, and that is the first blaze of the North Link Trail. So it is official. There's a little placard, Black Forest Trail. It's been real. Really crazy hike. By far the hardest hike I've done. That rock situation was completely new and trying, but I'm feeling pretty good about the effort. I mean, we maintained 20 miles per day pace just about, including, I don't know, I'd have to go back and look at it, but we stayed pretty close. We got done in 2 nights. I'd have to see what time we hit the trail, but it looks like about 48 hours. So that feels like it's pretty good for 42 and change miles and good elevation. So with that, I'm gonna find a place to sit down and get some lunch. Lunchtime again, so that means time for trail food trials. The Green Belly Meal Replacement Bar Challenge continues. Today's is dark chocolate banana. So nice to have something that's not nut forward. 666 calories, same price per calorie pretty much. No water, no time, 5 out of 5 ease factor. Let me see if I can set this camera down because I didn't grab my tripod, and we will test it out.
How long you been waiting?
Eva just got here. Just long enough to filter water.
Cool.
Dark chocolate banana. This might be the best texture-wise.
I don't like the flavor, but I don't like chocolate bars.
Oh. If they were gonna go dark chocolate, they could have gone darker. It's a little bit bitter, not as much as I would expect.
Right.
And I don't really get enough banana flavor. They could go a little lighter on the chocolate, a little heavier on the banana as far as I'm concerned. But in rotation with the other ones, it'd be a nice break from all the nut. I'd say this is a 4 out of 4 1/4 on flavor. I like it. And probably a 4 1/4 on texture. I'll have to check what I rated the other ones, but this is definitely the best texture of all the meal replacement bars. So after I double check that, I will put all the numbers up on screen, and we might have one more left. I'm not sure. And then we have 2 range bars, which is a similar deal from a different company. So depending on how everything goes, we may get to those as well.